Hi, this is Dan Gonzalez. I'm a product specialist at Cakewalk, and here I wanted to show you some new features inside of Sonar Platinum. So let's divert over to the screen here and I'll show you what's going on. So inside of Sonar Platinum, what we did was we added a few new features and some massive overhauls to the UI and some new technology. And one of the first things I wanted to show you was the control bar along the top. The control bar is it's basically a tool that allows you to access all the high-level functions of Sonar. But as you can see, now we've added scrolling features to the actual control bar to let you get to new modules quicker, and some of the existing ones. You can use the little arrows over on the left here to jump between the different scroll states. And you can even right-click on the modules, and you can resize each individual module, or you can resize all of the modules with the 5 different states that we have going on right here. The first state is our auto state, which allows you to basically change the size of the modules going from left to right. If you have your modules unlocked, you can actually drag them around and see how this animation works. You drag to the left, it automatically resizes, and as it gets closer to the right.
Almost like a word processing toolbar.
Exactly, it's wonderful. And what's cool is that because to make this happen, we had to introduce new sizes for the individual toolbars. So for all the toolbars, each toolbar has a collapsed state. If you see up here, they're all minimized and they animate when you hover over them. They have a small state, which is right here. They're all like smaller states of everything. We have a lot of medium states for these right here. And then we also have a large state for each one, which is what we started with, which is right here. And like I said, you navigate, do all this kind of stuff. Another crazy feature inside the control bar is our new custom module. Right up here, inside the control bar, you'll see this little grid of 9 different banks. Now, inside of Sonar, you can right-click on one of these banks, and you can assign menu options that are maybe 3 clicks deep. So let's say you wanted to get to the aim assist, which is a pretty common thing some people like on or off. You can click it and turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Or if you want to go to the Save As button. Save As button doesn't have a hotkey inside of Sonar, but you can actually put it right in here, click Save As, and there you go. Save As right there, 1 click away. So that's one of the newer additions to the control bar. Another killer addition to the control bar is our mixed recall feature. Now, the mixed recall feature, what it does is it allows you to save scenes of your project inside of a single project. So instead of saving multiple projects and moving between them and having to organize them by date like some people do, what we've done is we've introduced this idea of saving a mix within your project. And you can save up to, I believe, 10 or 11 or 12 of them, and you can jump between all of them. So essentially you can take effects, take automation, take track controls, bus controls, and completely change your mix, save it, and then go to a new mix.
So it's mix only, not arrangement. That's the sort of note.
It's mix only for now.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like versions, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So you can save multiple versions. So I can demonstrate that for you right now. Let's divert over to the control bar. I'll show you a little bit of what this thing does. This little button right here, it's a little picture of an SLR camera. That's a save button. That saves your current scene. Right here, the little dog-eared piece of paper, it's a Save As new scene. And this is your recall button, and this will jump to the previous mix. And this little drop-down shows you all of your mixes and some more functionality inside the mix recall feature here. So let's say I want to go to the mixer view right here. And over here on the master bus, I've got an EQ. So I'm going to save this as, let's say, EQ1. Now this EQ is now saved in here. That's the only thing that changed as EQ1, right? Now let's go over to this Pro Channel module here, and I'm going to change it. I'm going to swap it out for another Pro Channel preset. We'll go to, let's say, something like guitar. And now I've got a whole channel strip of other effects, but I want to save it as a new feature. So I go to this Save As New Scene, click on this, and I'll call it EQ2. Now, if I want to, when I hit the recall button, you can watch what happens to this bus control. Hit the recall button, and it switches to a new EQ. Then I can go back to it again, and it switches it out.
So useful for A/B and stuff like that.
Exactly. It'll do it during playback, and it affects pan controls, faders, mute and solo states, and even I think it controls polarity as well. It's really killer. So that's the mixed recall feature. It's wonderful. It's in all 3 versions. Now let's dive into the vocal sync feature. This is a brand new feature, Sonar Platinum only, and what it is the idea behind it is the ability to sync 2 vocal audio data streams together based on one of them. So what it does is it analyzes a guide track, and then it looks at a dub track and says, hey dub track, this is what the guide track's doing. Let's quantize the phonemes to that guide track. So if you check this out, it's as easy as this. You right click on your dub track, which is this vocal double, go to your region effects, and then you go to your vocal sync track and create a region effects. Then, as you can see, the guide track is along the bottom here, and your sync track, your dub track I should say, is along the top. And when you adjust this knob, it actually moves and quantizes that guide track. So what we're going to do is we'll listen to this piece of audio and we'll remove this region effect, and I'll show you how we would go about using this. So let's listen to this track, and we'll solo this out real quick here. And we'll listen to just these. So over here, there's some flamming going on. You hear you know is flamming. So we're going to go over here, we're going to activate vocal sync. And then by assigning the vocal lead, which is this track up here on the left, in that little menu, the dub track is now looking at this one for guidance. So now we're going to adjust this to about here, and we're going to render. Now it's completely synced.
So great for double tracking, great for ADR possibly, voiceover.
ADR, syncing backing tracks to lead tracks, and then syncing doubled lead vocals to themselves. So much like this is a double lead vocal. But yeah, essentially if you were in post and you wanted to get the actor to redub his vocals, you could use this to sync it to picture in the event that maybe he missed a couple notes, a couple dialogue notes here and there. So
can you dial it in like ridiculously tight so it becomes almost like a kind of more than double track, like a sync almost?
That is the idea. The knob that I showed you right here is a strength button, and what that does is it essentially allows you to as you adjust it higher, the stronger the stretching occurs, but that doesn't mean that the strongest is the best part. Sometimes some tracks might have, might be fine with maybe at like maybe 3 o'clock, and that's where it's synced the most, you know. So it's a kind of a sweet spot. You got to find it.
Is it a real-time preview, or do you have to render it first?
There's some real-time preview in there, but I prefer rendering because it just sounds better to me. Yeah. So, so in addition to that, we have something else I want to cover, and it's called the pattern tool, and it's a great new feature inside of Sonar for our MIDI composition guys. So I'm going to go find our little MIDI track that we have in here. I'll back this up to the beginning, and I'm just going to solo this out, and then we have this MIDI track, right? And what this is aside from it being in a new PRV, is the pattern tool is under your draw controls. You access it by clicking on your smart tool and going to pattern. And what you do is, it's a little paint roller on its left side. It's kind of clever. You right click and you lasso MIDI data. And all you have to do is just draw it.
That's neat. It's like the Photoshop clone tool almost.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. So you can draw it back and forth, just like that. What's really cool about this feature is that if you hold shift on your computer keyboard and you click and drag, it changes the tonal center of it. So you can drag it wherever the first melody note is, it'll start there, and you can do it anywhere you want. This is great if you're trying to like figure out a part or transpose something real quickly without having to cut and paste and transpose. So that's really cool. Inside of the track view, you can actually use the pattern tool as well. Click on something, click on it to lasso it, and then draw the pattern out. Then, what makes this really, really beneficial and really, really clever is that if you're inside our media browser up here on the right and you go to our MIDI groove clips and you're looking at the drum patterns or any other pattern for that matter, all you have to do is click on it with the lasso tool and draw it in there. And you don't have to import the MIDI at all. It just draws it in. So it's really cool if you're trying to get something really quick going and you know, you're trying to figure out tom parts or drum parts or something, you have them all saved in your media browser. So, but yeah, so that's Sonar Platinum, as well as Professional and Artists. Thank you for coming to NAMM 2015. It's been a great time. I'm Dan Gonzalez from Cakewalk, and I'll see you next time.